board exams, board exams, board exams. So my question to you is, how a child should go about attempting the question paper in order.
The starting has to be very, very different.
सेक्शन सी,
Yes.
लिटरेचर सेक्शन, जहाँ पे बच्चों को बुखार आ जाता है फ्लैमिंगो एंड विस्टास से.
So don't be Rajnikant, be yourself. The moment you start in a customary manner, people think, okay, this is one more like that.
PYQs, previous year question sets, a student must do and practice in these coming 60 days.
So I would recommend.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Singh's class. What problems are haunting all of us? America has kidnapped Venezuela's president. China-Taiwan tension. Bangladesh is boiling. Gen Z is protesting in Nepal. And as usual, our perpetual enemy Pakistan as always a big problem. Do you think these are the problems haunting CBSE Class 12 standard youth? No, not at all. CBSE 12 standard जो है 24 घंटे इस समय board exams, board exams, board exams, and board exams, right? So today I'm here to discuss with you about CBSE board exams. Hardly 2 months are remaining to begin with the exams, and एक big problem है, that is English language paper. Is it possible कि English language में 100 out of 100 score कर सकते हैं? Well, when I was in school way back 1990, उस समय मैंने क्लियर किया था क्लास 12 स्टैंडर्ड, और मेरे ख्याल से इफ आई कैन रिकॉल शायद टॉपर स्कोर्ड 65 आउट ऑफ 100. So क्या is it possible that आज 2026 में 100 out of 100 score कर सके? To answer all these questions, today I have with me Mr. Rajesh Mehta. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And today he will be asking and clearing all your doubts in English. किस तरह से इस पेपर को अप्रोच करना है? What are the super से भी ऊपर का tips which Rajesh is going to give? And above all, he is with our school since last 20-25 years as PGT English. So welcome once again to PP Savani group of schools from Radiant English Academy. And sir, the first question as usual.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to score 80 out of 80 in English?
Very much, sir. In fact, I have been a evaluator in board paper checking also, and I myself has also given 80 on 80. So it's very much possible to score 80 on 80 in English, provided we take care of certain aspects which are to be taken care of. And that's what we are going to discuss now. But I want to emphasize over here that it is possible to score 80 on 80 in the English written exam paper.
So आज first question sir को पूछते हैं. Let's ask him the very first question of this podcast. Sir, can you please throw some light on the paper pattern this year? Because chances are there, there are many students may not be knowing the latest paper pattern for 2026 board exams.
Yes, yes. So the whole paper has been divided into 3 sections. Section A is unseen passages. There are 2 questions in this section. First question will be of 12 marks and second question will be of 10 marks. Now, the best thing about this is these are all from current affairs and news media productions. So somewhere or here and there, if we have been following the news or anything like that, it will be that much easier for us to deal with those 2 passages. Though they are unseen but not unknown, we can say like that. Then the next section is section B, that is creative writing skills. In that we have 4 questions. So question number 3, 1 and 2 are comprehensions. Question number 3 is notice writing. Here we have 2 options in notice writing. So we can attempt any one based on our liking. Question number 4 will be a question from invitation and a question from reply. Or it can be both the invitations, both the replies, any combination, but then they will be from invitation and reply chapter. So that is again a skill which we need to know as we are becoming more and more social. So we need to know how to invite people such that they feel being invited, and as a courtesy we need to reply to the invitations also. So that is question number 4. Question number 5 will be letter writing. Again, we have two options. First one will be letter to editor, where we express our concerns about the things. And second one will be job application letter, where we will be applying for a job details which will be provided in the question paper. And the 6th question, that will be a choice between article writing and report writing. So these are the 4 questions in writing section in section B. I repeat, question number 3, notice writing. Question number 4, invitation and reply. Question number 3, letter to editor or job application letter. And question number 7, article writing or report writing. So this consists of section B. And last, section C is all about textual. That is from NCERT books. We have 2 books and the questions will be from there. So again, there will be a divide of reference to context questions. That is question number 8, 9 and 10. 7, 8 and 9 will be reference based questions. Then there will be short answer questions, then long answer questions. So this is how the whole paper pattern is divided into 3 sections.
Well, Rajesh, sir, actually, the Indian education system is such that whatever a child does in those 3 magical hours,
Exactly.
that reflects upon the child and what the child has done throughout the year.
Yes.
So my question to you is, how a child should go about attempting the question paper in order?
Very nice. This is a question for all the children. Now, to put it in this manner, that CBSE has given a logical sequence of section A, B and C. Like for example, section A is unseen passage. So now when the child comes into the exam hall, he or she is quite fresh. So they can go ahead with section A, where they come across unknown things and they are ready to absorb them. By the time they complete section A, they are already into the zone of English. So that is the time they can attempt section B, that is creative writing. And then when they reach section C, they are a bit tired in a way mentally. But that's the time when they come across the texts which they have already studied. So they don't have to think much about the answers, but then they can focus on answering the questions. So this is the logical sequence CBSE has provided as section A, B and C. But then CBSE has been lenient enough to give us the choice. We can attempt any section in any manner. We can start with section C, A, B or any other combination, providing the child feels comfortable in. So there is no fixed rule. It's already up to the child to go by this method, whatever he or she finds comfortable. But as I said before, the logical sequence as provided by CBSE is first section A, then section B, then section C.
So as you said that we have 3 sections in English paper in Standard 12 CBSE.
Yes.
Section A, Section B and Section C.
Yes.
Now Section A, it talks about, 22 big marks.
Yes.
2 big unseen passages.
Yes.
So, I just want to know that how a child should go about these 2 passages, because, let me recall
Right.
my good old days.
Yeah.
My, English teacher, she used to, I do remember, correct, if I can recall correctly, that she gave us 2 tips.
Okay.
Tip number 1 was, first, you read the passage thrice at least minimum for better understanding.
Right.
And then read the questions.
Right.
And second was the vice versa. First, you read all the questions,
Right.
and thereafter you go on reading the passage. So probably while you read the passage, you will recall those questions,
Exactly.
which you have read. So you can underline those in the
Yes.
question paper. So something, like tips which you would like to share with our students,
Right.
correct, for
Right.
section A.
Definitely. So I prefer the second tip given by your teacher. Normally, I say this to my students also, because when you read the questions first, you get an idea what the passage is all about. And then some questions you do register in your mind as you read them. Then, when you shift to the passage for reading, the passage is not entirely unseen for you now. So, there is already a mindset ready to accept whatever is being written over there. And then, whatever you have registered in your mind, you will find as you read. So, that will save a lot of time for you to find the answers. Second thing is, there are words which have the antonyms and synonyms to be found. So again, CBSE is better in the sense by they provide the passage number, paragraph number. So then what you can do is you can write that question word beside that paragraph in light pencil mode. So when you read them, you can connect them. Now, suppose in that particular paragraph, there are 5 new words which you don't know. And one of the question is from those. So what you can see is you can put this word in that place and reread the sentence. So if it makes sense, you will understand that this is the word which I need. So that way you can answer those questions. Now, the second thing is when the question is now we have the combination of MCQs and the 1 mark questions also and 2 mark questions. So in 1 mark question, answering any 1 point will be good enough. But whenever you encounter 2 mark questions, you need to point out at least 2 points to answer those questions. The questions also will be such which will have 2 or more options available in the passage. So you need to write at least 2 points over there. Now the catch over here is students, they tend to copy everything from the passage in the answer, like cut, copy, paste. So I would recommend to be more specific. Why? Because ultimately it affects the time.
Correct.
So if we write pinpointedly, it will save a lot of time at the end to do other things, which I'm going to let you know at the end what is the need and how we should go about doing all the sections. So this is how a child can save time, at the same time attempt question number 1 and 2 in a very empathetic and proper manner, such that he or she scores full marks in those 2 questions.
All right, thank you. And students, आपने देख लिया गुरु का ज्ञान. अगर सेक्शन ए में 22 में से 22 चाहिए, 22 out of 22, follow super tips given by Rajesh Mehta sir. Now sir, let us come to section B,
Yes.
writing skills.
Yes.
Now in this section,
Right.
कैसे भी करके, I want all my students across India, in Gujarat, in Surat, to score 18 out of 18. 100% से नीचे चाहिए ही नहीं.
Exactly.
अब सुपर से भी ऊपर का tips you have to share with all my students.
Yes. So I am in a position to answer these questions well. Why? Because I have been evaluating questions, the answer sheets since many years. So what I have found is in those topper answer sheets and everything, they are very specific with their answers. Number one. So they read the questions carefully. Now there is a catch. Normally students take it for granted. Notice means it will be like this. Invitation means it will be like this, and they miss out on fine prints over there. So they need to read the questions very, very carefully and cover all the points which are mentioned in the question. Because here many students miss out on certain things. So that is number one. They need to read the questions very, very carefully. Because lot of informations are given in the question nowadays to make it simpler for the students to think. Why? Because they want to evaluate their writing skills. So if they spend a lot of time on thinking, then writing may suffer. So lot of informations are given in the question so that they can focus on writing. So question has to be read thoroughly, 100%. Now, taking question number 3, that is notice writing. So basically, you need to put in all writing sections. Again, one more thing I would like to include over here is you need to put yourself in the reader's side and write. So once you write, you have to see that if I am the reader, am I getting all the informations which are required to be got? That's the time you will find out, okay, something is missing, which you can include in your answers. So that is again a critical thing. You need to put yourself in the reader's side and write the answers. So in notice writing, the format is very much there. You need to follow that to the T. Now, it should answer the questions what, where, when, and the likewise points. Now, suppose there is a question which talks about some national player coming for the program. Now, the question will only say national player, but you need to write the name of the player. Now, it can be any hypothetical name also, but since you are writing a notice, you are aware about all the details of the program. So, you must be knowing the name of the player also. So, like this, wherever such names are given, persons are mentioned, you need to incorporate some name over there. Another thing which I have come across is if the question is saying Arun Pandey is coming. So when you write, you should write Mr. Arun Pandey, not just Arun Pandey. Okay, because these are all written communications, they are the evidences. So we need to be as clear as possible in our answers. So these are the tips for the notice writing. They need to be very clear about the question first, and the answer should answer all the points which are required to be known by the reader. So that is as far as notice writing is concerned. Then comes a invitation and reply. So invitation is again of two types: formal invitation, informal invitation. Again, formal invitation is again bifurcated into two parts. When we invite an individual, then we have to write it in a letter form. But if we are inviting a lot of people together, like masses, like wedding or some annual function or anything like that, then we have to make the card type invitation. So this has to be very clear, because many a times the question doesn't tell you what kind of invitation you have to write. So you need to keep it very clear. When the invitation is for an individual, it has to be a letter type invitation. And when the invitation is for the masses, it has to be a card type invitation. Otherwise, the marks will be deducted randomly. And then there'll be informal invitation. Again, you write informal invitation individually also. So it will be again a letter type invitation. So this is as far as the invitation is concerned. Replies, again, the reply is sent by an individual only. So again, there will be letter type replies only. Now, formal invitations will take the format of formal letters. Informal will take the format of informal letters. So those formats are to be followed to the T. Invitation should be focusing on what is this invitation for, when is the event going to be held, where is it going to be held, if any time duration is there. Then you need to give the address also. Now, suppose we are writing card type invitation, so we will write the venue address over there. So in that we have RSVP, that is where the reply is expected. So that address has to be different than the venue address. Why? Because you will be at the venue on that particular day only, whereas the reply is required before the event. So that address has to be different and specifically mentioned so that invitee can reply over there. So these are the things to be taken care of as far as the invitations are required. Formal invitations will take the formal language. Informal invitations will take informal language. Means formal language means we have to write it in third person pronouns. And uh, informal, we can use first person and second person. I, me, my, you, your. All those can be used in informal, but formal ones will require formal language, and that has to be written in third person pronouns only. Same goes for the replies also. Now, when you reply, again, you need to take care of three things. Number one, you need to congratulate the inviter for the event for which you are being invited, because it's an event. So something good is only there. That's why you are being invited. So you need to congratulate them for that. Number two, you need to thank them for the invitation extended to them. You And the third thing is, you need to say whether you are attending it or not. If you are attending, then you have to say how and when you are going to reach the place. If you are not attending, then you have to give a reason for declining the invitation. There can be any genuine reason for which you are not able to attend it. So that reply will again have two parts. Sometimes the question tells you that you have to accept the invitation or you have to decline the invitation. So that time you need to be very specific. But if nothing is mentioned, you have a choice. You can either accept the invitation or you can decline the invitation. So this is as far as the invitation and reply is concerned. That is question number 4. It is also 4 marks. And all 4 marks can be got very easily. Once we take care of these small things, it's 4 marks are in the bank. It's like that. Next comes question number 5, that is letter writing. So it takes the format of the formal letter again. It's letter to editor. Now here again the children make mistake is when the question is asking write a letter to the editor of a national daily or a local daily. They think that national daily or local daily is the name of a newspaper. But it's not that. National daily is a newspaper which is published from various cities of the country. And local daily is a newspaper which is published locally. So you need to write the specific name of the newspapers rather than writing national daily or the local daily. So that is something which children make a mistake in that. So they need to be very clear about this part. And the address can be like this: the editor. Next line will be name of the newspaper, and the third line will be the name of the city in which this newspaper office is located. In the letter, this much is enough, but these 3 lines should be there. So that is as far as the to address is concerned. Now, what I teach my students is like the letter can be written in 4 paragraphs and we can divide them logically to make sense. So the first paragraph will be introduction of the writer and the introduction of the topic. The topic should be elaborated more than the what you have written in the subject line. So it has to be a detailed detailing of the topic subject at hand. So that will consist of first paragraph. Second paragraph, you need to write the CCTV view about the topic. Now normally letter to editor is about some concern. So something is happening which is not expected to happen, which you are addressing. So whatever is happening, you have to write there in the second paragraph as being captured in the camera. Now there won't be any emotions or anything. Camera won't capture emotions or dialogues or anything. So you just have to write what is so, the ground reality about the topic in the second paragraph. Now the third paragraph is the impact. Now whatever you have written in the second paragraph carries an impact. And different people will be impacted in different manner. Like suppose if I am talking about potholes on the road and street light
Stray animal problems.
stray animal problem, suppose. Now, if the stray, we have already mentioned everything in the second paragraph. Now, how to go about the third paragraph? So, it is an issue about the residents of the area. So, how are they affected by that? It is an issue about the municipal corporation. How are they affected by that? It is an issue about the ranking of the place or the city. Now we are managing all these things also. So how are they going to be affected? And the doctors who are going to treat if anything happens like this. So all these different entities, how are they going to affect by this? Whatever we have written in second paragraph needs to be written in the third paragraph. Why to do that? Because see, the purpose of writing the letter is to get an action initiated about whatever we are writing. We want to deal with the issue. Now, the authorities may be aware about one or two entities of impacts. But when we write so many, they will also realize, okay, so many are affected, so much is getting affected. So let me take an initiative to deal with the issue on a faster basis. So to initiate faster action, this impact paragraph works a lot. Okay. And then the fourth paragraph is all about the solutions or the advices, the appeals, the requests, suggestions, anything. So that's how the whole letter can be completed in 4 paragraphs. And when you do this compartmentalized, your thoughts also will be limited to those only. Nowadays, what happens is when they are not clear about it, they write anything anywhere. And by the time they have written certain thing, they realize that whatever I want to write now would have made impact in the second paragraph more. But then they have already reached the end of the letter. So when you have this kind of compartmentalization, your thoughts are also going that way, and you can include everything in a logical manner. So if you see, there is a logic also. The editor, when he reads, he or she reads. So first he comes to know who you are and why you are writing. Second, what is the actual problem? Third, how the everybody are affected by that. And fourth, possible solutions. So it doesn't make them think much. They are already provided with everything. Now the only thing is the action part on their thing. And that's how it becomes that much more effective letter. So this is how they can go about with letter to editor. Coming to job application letter, again we know for one vacancy also there are thousands of applications coming. Now it's practically impossible for the recruiter to go through all the applications. Now it's very clear whoever matches the criteria would have only replied to the vacancy advertisement. So now biodatas will be more or less same. So the make or break thing is the application part. That's where you need to make an impact. So again, the format will be formal letter. First paragraph, you need to write who you are, and you need to mention from where you got the information about this vacancy. So if it is a newspaper, you need to write the name of the newspaper as well as the date also, the edition, because it acts as a research for them, because they give advertisements in multiple media. But then from this, they will evaluate which media works better for them, which day advertisement works better for them. So next time they will take care of those parts. So that becomes a research thing for them also. So we need to mention the name of the newspaper, magazine, whatever source is there, and the date or edition of that particular newspaper, magazine. So this will form the first paragraph. Second paragraph is all going to talk about your soft skills, which cannot find a place in the biodata. Biodata is all about tangible things, basically. So here we need to put forward all the intangible things which makes you different from others. So it can be anything, right from being responsible to a good time management person, to a humble person, to an empathy filled person, to a go-getter, to you can say anything which is going to match the post that you are applying for. Now different posts will require different kinds of soft skills, so you need to write accordingly. Now if I am a marketing manager post applying for marketing manager, I should be good at communication also, so that will come over there. Now, if I am applying for data entry operator, communication is not required. Communication skills is not that important. There, my typing speed will matter. So, based on the question, we need to write all those things. And that's where it will be a different one for you. So, second paragraph is make and break paragraph for the job application. Third paragraph, you need to mention that you are enclosing your biodata along with this letter, and you can request for personal interview. Now again here you can say, you can request to give you a lead time of about 3 days before calling for interview. Here, why so? Because wherever you are working, you don't want to leave that place abruptly by keeping your work incomplete or anything like that. When you get a lead time of 3 days, you can manage your work for the leave you are taking, and then you can go there. So that itself sounds being responsible. Okay. So this is what you can write over there. And then you can conclude the letter. And then you have to, next segment is biodata. So biodata, again, the different points are there, but then again, two things are very important apart from the regular ones. One is you need to write your skills. So either you can write skills in the second paragraph or in the biodata, spatial skills you possess. And the next thing is references. It is very important because the recruiter wants to know you better. And who a better person than someone who is a responsible post holder in any company. So if you are knowing someone from a reputed company at a reputed post, you need to mention that person's name, post, company name, and his or her phone number. So if they want, the recruiter want, they can call and find out more about you from them, because they are going to give their secrets in your hands. So they want to double check before recruiting you and holding you responsible for the work. So references is very important. So this is how you can approach for the job application letter. Now coming to the last question of writing section. So the first part is article writing. Now again, we are coming across so many articles day in, day out. So how to make my article stand apart? The moment you start in a customary manner, people think, okay, this is one more like that. So the starting has to be very, very different, impactful, unpredictable. That's what is going to create that curiosity in the minds of the reader. And then they are going to read, and that will be the success of your article. So the starting can be any way. It can be either a thought, a quote, a poetic couplet, or you can mention about some anecdote or some hypothetical theory also, a story you can create and write, which is going to lead them into the topic. It should be relevant to the topic. So that is how they will put you into the reading mode of the topic. So this is how the beginning has to be very, very impactful and unpredictable. That is the first thing you need to take care of. That's what we see in the movies also. All movies don't start in the same manner, and that's where the things make difference. So that's what we need to include over here. Then second paragraph, again, as it is the CCTV view about the topic. Third paragraph, the impact of the topic. And fourth, the findings and the suggestions and the what you can say, conclusion about the topic. Again, in the conclusion, you can have one of the things which you started with. Because again, when you move out from the movie theater, at the end, again, they put forward some song or some famous song or dialogue or music, which rings in your mind as you move out. So that's what you want to leave your audience, reader also with. So towards the end also, you can include something like this to make it completely impactful article. So this is how you can score very well in your article writing also. And then with article writing, we have an option of report writing. So report is basically reporting of an event which has already happened. So one of the key thing which students make mistake is they are so much adapt to listening live reporting that they write like live reporting. Okay. So that's where they miss out on everything. But this is a newspaper report writing. So the event has already happened and now you are writing. So it has to be completely in the past tense. And that's where they miss out many a times. So it is very, very critical for the students to know that they have to write a newspaper report and not an TV channel reporting. So it has to be in past tense. And then there is everything is very clear what happened, where it happened, how did it happen, who all are affected by this. You can have eyewitness account also, which you can write in inverted commas, and that can be in the present tense or future tense also, because those are the actual spoken words. Again, refrain from giving approximate figures over here. So if 50 people are injured, you write 50 people. Don't write 45 to 50 people are injured. Be specific. Why? Because you are on the ground zero. You are reporting about things that have happened. So you have done the research and you are doing this. So be very particular about the figures that you mention over there. And at the end, you can write about government's role also into the event, whatever is thought by the people, what they expect out of uh, government for whatever has happened. Normally, reporting is done for the negative things only, but yeah, sometimes it is about the school event also. So there you can conclude with principal's remarks or the trustee's remark or the chairman's remark, something like that, to complete it completely. So that is how the report writing can be completed. Again, telling you, formats are very, very crucial and critical. So whatever I have spoken about the content of these topics, but the formats you need to be very, very particular about.
Students, Guru ka gyan sabse mahan. If you want to seal 18 out of 18 in section B, that is writing skills, follow Rajesh Mehta sir's word. At the end of this, we'll be sharing his link for the further questions. You can always speak to him. Now, sir, section C,
Yes.
literature section. जहाँ पे बच्चों को बुखार आ जाता है, फ्लैमिंगो एंड विस्टास से. So
Exactly.
basically, how to prepare about this section, because it comprises of 50% of the marks.
Exactly.
So if you can please throw some light on this.
Sure, sure. Number one, as NEP 2020 has been implemented. So now only going through the summaries online is not going to work. This had been the formula till now. They will watch the videos online and then they'll go and give the exam and they'll score. Now it won't work only. It will work, but it's not the only thing. So the first and foremost thing is they have to go through the chapters and poetries word by word, line by line. And they need to visualize as the things are unfurling in the chapters and the poetries. Because when they will visualize the things, they will be connecting themselves emotionally also. And that is what the CBSE wants. CBSE doesn't want educated unemployed who are only having the knowledge. Now, the emotions, empathy, everything is required to deal with the situations. So, the visualization while reading is very, very recommended, very much recommended. Then they will be able to connect with the characters. They will be visualizing the events happening, the scene that is their background also. Because now the questions can come from any corner of the chapter or the poem. So knowing only the chapter is not going to work. You need to connect with the characters. You need to connect with the situations. Now, recently only one question was asked, why the author chose Franz, a school-going child, as a narrator of the chapter The Last Lesson. Now, this nowhere it is mentioned in the chapter. Okay. So if you just go by the content, you won't be able to answer this. But if you have felt the chapter, if you have visualized the chapter, you would be able to answer the question. So now these kind of questions are more and more. So the old way of preparing won't work now. You also need to evolve yourself with CBSE. So As I said, read the chapter word by word, line by line, and visualize them. And note down the change of tones, because the tones will also change as per the situations. Okay. Note down all the critical uh, quotes spoken by different characters. And then you need to know that it is just good enough for your exam. If you do this, it takes care of everything. So again, here you need to read the questions carefully, then only you should attempt the answer. Many a time students have a tendency to read first three words of the question and they will say, okay, this is the question, and they just start missing out on the next part of the question, and they write something else only, where they lose completely. So read the question carefully and then answer what is being asked. Now again, students many a times have a tendency to become Hanuman. Sanjeevani is asked and they bring the whole mountain for the teacher to find out the Sanjeevani. So for teacher, it is again a tedious task, but nevertheless, teacher will do justice to that while checking. But in the process, the child has wasted a lot of time, which costs him or her at the end. So be very, very specific with your answers. The word limits are already provided in the questions. They are there as a marker. If you exceed the word limit, no marks will be deducted for that, but then it is going to affect you time-wise. So stick to the word limits, answer the questions within those word limits so that you are able to complete everything on time, properly, judiciously, with your own conviction. So that is what is important. Now for 2-mark questions, again, as I said, in comprehension, they have to mention at least 2 points. Many times students, what they do is they repeat the same point in a different language. So they lose the marks over there. So 2 marks means 2 points have to be there and they too have to be different. Likewise, in the 5-mark question, you need to make number 1 paragraph. Now the new pattern is the CBSE is asking to combine you 2 chapters or 1 chapter, 1 poem, and on a particular theme, and answer the question. So what you can do is 1 paragraph for 1 chapter, another paragraph for another chapter, and then the connection. So this is how your long answer should be divided into 3 paragraphs rather than 1 big paragraph where the teacher again has to go through everything like in a tedious manner. So that has to be taken care of. Basically, this is what they need to take care. Otherwise, they are doing wonderful. But these are the gray areas where they tend to falter. Even the toppers tend to falter over here. So this is what they need to take care. Number 1, read the chapter poem word by word, line by line. Visualize, note down the things which they feel important about them to be remembered, and then start answering the questions read the question carefully. If it is of 2 marks, make 2 different points. 5 marks, again different paragraphs, and then you are in for full marks. Yeah, and again, one more thing I forgot is when the reference to context questions are there, so you don't have to write the general answers based on the whole chapter or the poem. Your answer should be purely based on the reference given in the question. So if a particular question is asked which has its answer in other part of the chapter or other stanzas of the poem also, and if you write that, normally it should be right, but here it will be considered wrong. Why? Because it is the question based on reference to context. So whatever has been given, you need to find out the answer from there only and mention that. So no generalized answers. Specific with respect to the reference, you have to answer the question. So this is again one thing which students are making mistake. They know the totality of the chapter or the poem, so they think, okay, let me write this answer. But then they need to be specific with respect to the reference only which is provided in the question.
Sir, one term PYQ, 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 and PYQ.
Right.
Now, this term probably every students they have got by now by heart.
Yes.
So, in your opinion,
Yes.
how many PYQs, previous year question sets, a student must do and practice in these coming 60 days?
Right. So since English paper has evolved the maximum, the paper pattern and the question patterns, we don't have to go very far into PYQs. We can do last 3 years PYQs thoroughly, and then we can do justice to ourselves. At the same time, lot of online material is available with the current system. So they can approach those things rather than going for the PYQs. And they need to write and practice. That is one thing which these students falter a lot. They think that listening or reading is good enough. But then these are the written exams. They have to, at the end of the day, write the paper in those 3 hours. So if they have the habit of writing, then only they will be able to do justice on those 3 hours. So normally students, what they think is, let me read it or let me listen it. That doesn't work. As it is said, for swimming, you have to get into the water. Like this is a written exam, so you need to prepare by writing. So PYQs, as far as English is concerned, I personally think last 3 years would be good enough. Okay, because lot of things have changed since. So these will be good enough. But then online material is available. The current ones only need to be taken. At the same time, CBSE website also provides with the sample papers. So they also need to be gone through. Last 3 years sample papers, they are there on the cbse.nic.in website, readily available. So in that, those are also to be solved, and that will be good enough. Main focus is reading and visualizing while reading. That is very, very critical. If you have language by your side, this is good enough work for you. You can manage any other question if you have done it this way. So, but yes, for the weaker students, they need to like read and write question answers thoroughly in order to have that language skill also incorporated, imbibed in them. But yes, if you are good enough, I'm not saying you don't have to write. As I said, for learning swimming, you have to get into the water. For written exam, you have to write and practice. So writing has to be done by all, but the weaker students can copy and write also, or they can read the answers and then write by themselves. But the other ones, they should try and write by themselves and then can cross check the answers to see what they have done, how far they are closer to the sample answers, to get to know what is missing or what is to be done to make it perfect. But if your English is good, I don't think anything can stop you.
All right, finally, super se bhi upar ka tips from super se bhi upar ka teacher. Sir, last thing,
Yeah.
handwriting, presentation, and any confidence building measures
Yes.
we would like to share with our students.
Definitely. Number one, handwriting issue comes as we proceed with the paper. Initially, they are so good. And then as we proceed, it is evident very clearly. So, to handle this particular aspect, what I will suggest is divide each section in 50 minutes. Try and complete your section A in 50 minutes, section B in 50 minutes, section C in 50 minutes. Now let's imagine you could not complete your section B in 50 minutes. Leave it there only and go to section C. Leave the space for the answer and go to section C. Do that thoroughly. Now 50, 50, 50 means 2 hours 30 minutes. So we are still left with 30 minutes where we can go back, complete the answer, recheck the answers, and then do justice to our presentation. So that is one thing they have to do. Normally what happens is in section A, they may spend 1 hour, 20 minutes. Then they will start with section B, again 50 minutes or 1 hour. Then very little is left for section C. And then in a hurry, they will go on writing whatever comes to their mind. And writing will be impacted. Content will also be impacted. So if they can divide this way, stop at that moment only. Whatever is left, let it be. Because you have 30 minutes later on to complete that. So stop here, go to the next section, do justice to that section. Again, 50 minutes over, stop there, go to the next section. So that you are doing justice to all the sections. Otherwise, what happens is, as I say, last section tends to suffer. And the handwriting
That is the most crucial one.
Exactly.
40 marks.
Yes. So if they do this way, they'll be doing a lot of good to themselves. Okay. Number two, see, as far as the answers are concerned, as I said before, stick to the word limits. Teachers don't want too much of the things. They want the key points presented in the best manner. So if you think you will write long answers and the teacher checker will be impressed, then it is not the fact. So no need to write too much of anything. Stick to the word limit, complete everything within those word limits, and relax and enjoy your writing. See, as you have also said before, and I personally believe, exams are the festivals of knowledge. Like for festival, we prepare and then we enjoy. So exam is the enjoyment part for all that we have done so far. All preparations we have done. So actually they need to be enjoyable. But because of faulty preparations and faulty executions, we make it a big pressure on ourselves. So if you follow these tips which are given now, you will really enjoy your stay at the examination hall. You will really cherish your existence over there. So this is what it is. And basically these are the things they can take care of, and they will be doing a lot of justice to their own result.
So students, super tip from super teacher: 50, 50 and 50 for all the three sections. Sir, what happens basically? Students, they'll listen to this and they tend to forget. So down the line, are you, before the starting of the board examination, especially English paper, are you planning some sort of revision exercises online for students?
Yeah, that can be definitely done. Already I have my YouTube channel by the name of Lab for English.
Okay.
They can always visit there for all the chapters, all the writing section topics, all the formats of the writing section topics are also explained over there. So they can refer to that also to follow the particular formats. Okay. So that can always be done. They can always contact me on the YouTube channel also, my YouTube channel also, and I'll be responding to them. Now, one more thing I missed out is, like, when we are writing, two things are happening simultaneously. One is my hand is moving. Second, my mind is also moving. Now, the speed of hand and the speed of mind are different. While I'm here, my hand has reached here, my thought might have gone here. And slight distraction, and I might
You
miss
tend
out
to
something.
forget. Yes.
I might miss out a word also. Suppose not was required and I missed out. Now the whole thing will go. I have come across such answers also. Sometimes Mrs. has to be written, last S has been missed out. So the whole context changes. Mrs. becomes Mr. Okay, Mrs. Pearson is there, Mr. Lamb is there, Mrs. Lamb will be completely different. So now these are unavoidable mistakes. These are bound to happen. The only solution for this is rereading what you have written. So before you submit your answer sheet, you have to go through it completely. I know it's very boring. You have already took out so much time and energy to complete the paper. Now you just want to give it and rush out. But all these preparations you have done to score well. Now, would you like to miss out on scoring with such silly mistakes? Definitely no. So generate yourself for next 15-20 minutes at least and go through the whole paper. Now, when I ask my students many a times when I am invigilating to go through, Rajnikant enters into them. Sir, done. So don't be Rajnikant, be yourself. Read everything carefully and correct wherever you find the mistakes, such that when the paper reaches the evaluator, they find the correct thing. If they find out the mistake, marks gone. If you have found out the mistake, you have saved the marks. So the only solution for this is a problem with in all the subjects also, because speed of mind and speed of hand won't match. So this is bound to happen. And that is why this big proofreading industry is also existing. So they have to do the proofreading of their answer sheet then and there itself before submitting it. So they need to plan their answers in such a manner that they do justice to their time for proofreading also. This is again very critical, especially for scoring full marks.
Parents and students, mid-May 2026, results of CBSE 12 standard is going to be declared, and I'm sure your ward is going to score 80 out of 80 in English. Now, this is not the first and the last and the only podcast from PP Savani Group of Schools Radiant English Academy, but there will be a series of such podcasts for most of the subjects, if not all. And I'm sure this is going to help all the students, particularly in Surat and beyond the boundaries of Surat, to score well in their upcoming 2026 CBSE board examinations. Thank you, and out from Dr. Singh's classes.
Thank you, sir.
Subscribe to Radiant English Academy